Well, good evening everyone and welcome to Adam's Fishing. I've got the head cam on today, so hopefully you can hear and hopefully see what I'm doing. It's always difficult to tell with this head camera to know if it's pointing in the right direction. But I'm currently just heaving my backpack onto my bag because I'm travelling light today. I say travelling light, fully loaded this backpack weighs probably nearly as much as my car does. But once it's settled on the back, it's not too bad. Anyway, where was I? It's middle of December. It's just gone 3:30 in the afternoon. And I have arrived down the small lake on my club ticket. And one of the reasons for the head cam is that, as usual, I'm racing the light to try and get myself down to the lake, set up and ready to fish. I've just looked at the outside temperature in my car on the drive here and it's 1 degree, so not optimal carp fishing conditions, but there has been a bit of sunshine today. I know where the lake gets the sun in the afternoon, and that's where I'm going to head to start with, really, and see if I can catch something. As I say, all I've got is the bag on my back. I've got my rod bag here in my right hand. I've got my camera bag here in my left hand. I've got a nice flask of tea in my backpack, which I shall treat myself to once I've got my rod set up. Oh, it's brilliant to be out here. It's really fresh, crisp, and just great, actually. I'm wearing my warm clothing, obviously. I've got lots of layers on, so I'm not too uncomfortable yet. And yeah, lovely to get out and do a bit of fishing, especially when I noticed the car park was empty, which means theoretically I've got the whole lake to myself. Absolute magic. And hopefully if I stand here for a sec, you can see the lake through the trees over there, if the camera's pointing at the right angle, which I really hope it is. Anyway, a couple more gates to open and I'll be there. I'm going to turn the camera off for a sec to save the battery. So here we go, just approaching the lake itself now, and doesn't it look pretty? Even though it's winter and most of the trees are bare, there is nothing quite like arriving at a lake. It always brings me this sense of peace that I simply do not get doing anything else. It's absolutely magic. That's beautiful. Right, come with me. We're going to go down to the what I call the bowl end of the lake, which is quite open in terms of tree coverage and that kind of thing, which means that it actually benefits from some of that winter sun in the afternoon. And we have had a bit of the sun this afternoon, so hopefully it's warmed the water up there a little bit. Thankfully, because it is light still, I can see what I'm doing. And you never know, I might even be lucky enough to see a sign or two of fish. That might be wishful thinking. Plenty of bird life. Well, I'm thinking somewhere here is where I want to go. Maybe I'll just set up here, plop a couple of rods out. No massive casting here, it's a small lake, and just enjoy it. Really hoping to catch a fish or two, as it's probably going to be my last session before Christmas. So let's make it count. Let's get set up. Whew. Oh, warm now. Right, again, going to turn the camera off just for a sec, just to save battery, because they don't last for a long time on these GoPros. All right, guys, keeping it simple. Got my bank stick pouch with me. Hopefully you can see that if the camera's pointing at it. I'll probably have to stop saying that, because if it's not pointing at it, I won't be putting it in the film. So you can see here I've got my TMC bank sticks, my little NGT VS alarms on here. I like them. The only thing that I have found is they eat batteries like you would not believe. So I'm just turning these on now to make sure that they do have a working battery. And they do, which is great. So let's go and pop these in. I think I'll go with my bank sticks around about here, because there's an overhanging tree which I don't want to get caught up in. There we go, and I've just raised those up a bit because there's a little bit of foliage here. Oh, now the foliage was hiding that tree thing, but actually I'll probably be okay. Yeah, let's go with it. So, backrests. Ooh. A lot of work going on in the neighbouring fields around this lake at the moment, which does disturb the peace a little bit, I'm sorry to say, but I don't suppose it will go on forever. I mean, a lot of the trees and shrubs that were all around this lake have now gone, and they've been doing a lot of burning. I'm really hoping that doesn't mean they're planning to build a housing estate here, but knowing the way things are, that's probably what's going to happen. So that might be a shame, but whatever it is, let's hope it doesn't happen too quickly. Right, bank sticks in. Let's get a couple of rods on there. 2-rod rule on this lake, even in the depths of winter. So I'll abide by that and just get 2 rods out of the bag today. Often people ask me about these. I use TF Gear Banshee 10-foot 2 3/4 pound test curve rods, and it looks like I've got these in a right nice muddle somehow. Interesting. Right, you don't want to see too much of this nonsense, so again, I'm going to turn the camera off in just a sec. But there's rod number 1 ready to be sorted out, baited up and cast out. Going to do the same again for rod number 2, and then join me again in a moment when I'm a little bit more sorted. Okay guys, what I'm doing now is just having a couple of casts with a bare lead, just to check I'm not casting into any patches of weed or anything like that. But this time of year, not usually a problem. And actually that cast then is aimed at that tree, or those 2 trees that are right next to each other there. That can be my my point of reference. I've had a couple of casts there before I turned the head cam on, but now I've clipped up. I will do my usual thing, which is mark the line, just so that I can get that clip back on if I need to. Hoping I do need to, because it might just mean I've had a bit of luck on the fish front. This is just the Fox marker elastic that I use for this job. Comes on a 20-metre spool rather than the 10-metre spools from other companies, and is about the same price, so value for money. You know, I'm all about the value for money. Right, so I know what I'm doing with my right hand rod. Okay guys, I'm just doing the same thing with my left hand rod. This one I'm aiming out to my left hand side, whereas the right one is off to my right hand side, spreading my bets. Just aiming for that bush on the far bank there, and that feels pretty good actually. I'm no expert at this. I'm not great at this casting business and feeling the lead down and stuff, but I think it feels a little bit deeper there. Yeah, it definitely takes a little bit longer for the lead to descend there, but it's nice and smooth, and why not try a couple of different depths, eh? So, same thing with this one, bit of marker elastic, and then I just need to bait up some rigs and cast them out there. All right guys, well for rigs it's the old faithful snowman rig, barbless hook rule here. So these have got indeed barbless hooks on. I'm using size 8 hooks here. Might seem a little bit on the small side, but the fish in here aren't massive. I mean, if you catch one at double figures, it's a big one. So don't think I need a massive great hook. So let's just pop those away. Now in here I've got my hook baits of choice. So in this case, Candy Nut Crush bottom baits, tipped off with a little manila pop-up to make a snowman rig on these. Sticking to what I know and love really. In the winter time, when bites are very hard to come by, I like to know that I've got something on which has worked for me before, and this certainly has, and it has worked on this lake as well, so it's tried and tested. Goodness, I'm all fingers and thumbs today. I think it's because it's so cold. I'm freezing up. Right, in this little tub here I've got some bait stops ready cut, so let's just take one of those, pop it in there, and there is my finished snowman rig ready to cast out. I'm going to make up a few of these just so that I've got them ready to rock and roll. Right guys, I've got 4 rigs ready now. Just got them nestled in a side pocket of my bag here, but you can see one there that I've popped a mesh bag onto. So they're ready to clip on and cast out. Oh, what am I up to? But before I do, I'm just going to open up my bag, because I've got in here some baits. It's some coconut cream boilies mixed with some Candy Nut Crush boilies, all glugged up with some lovely manila flavoured glug, or liquid I should say, and they have been frozen and defrosted, but I'm sure they're still quite pungent, which is great. I've got in here somewhere, underneath all my woolly hat etc, a catapult. So these two are going to now work for me. I'm going to, before I clip on rigs and hook baits and then cast out, I'm just going to have one more cast with each rod, hit the clip, watch where the lead hits the water, and then try and catapult a few pouches of these over the top to try and get a little bit of interest in the area. To see, it's starting to get dark now. It's 4:15, and that's about it this time of year, isn't it? That's about as much as you get in terms of daylight. So I'm pleased to have got the stage set, if you like, ready for my session, because from here on in it's probably going to be mainly in darkness. I've got a little bit of bait out, not loads, on each of the spots, if you like, where I'm casting to. I've not got any rigs clipped on yet. That's the last thing I'm going to do, clip on rigs and cast out. So let's just get my rods ready. Really hope I get some luck on this session. So first rod will be my right hand rod. I'm gonna fish out one of my sorted rigs, clip that onto the quick change lead clip there, and now just using some glug to pimp it up a little bit before I cast out. Now, as I've said before, casting is not my strong point, so I hope I managed to get this right first time. If not, it's a bit of a waste of a mesh bag, and I only brought a few with me. That'll do nicely. I'm quite comfortable that that landed where I've put those 3 offerings, so that's good. All right, rod number 2. I really am racing the light now. You probably can't tell on the recording, because these cameras are quite good at boosting light levels when it's dusk like this. But it is pretty dark. I can just about see what I'm doing. But after I've cast this one out, I'm going to have to break out the head torch, I think. Hope I managed to cast it all right first time, like that first rod. That'd be a result. That'll do. Now I think I'm sinking the line at the moment, but I can't actually see. It's a bit too dark. Now, let's get this on the rest. And the bite alarm switched on. That's pretty good. Okay, 2 rods, fishing. Phew. I can hear a football match going on in the distance over there. There's a school over there, so I guess it's a school match. But apart from that, it's just the sounds of twilight and the lake. Magic. Just trying to get a little bit of filming in on the GoPro before we lose the last of the light. I've just taken it off my head and just popped it on a fence post here. Hopefully you can see the swim behind me. What I'm going to do now is change into a chest mount for this camera, for this GoPro, so that if anything happens, I should be able to catch it as best I can, if it's dark anyway, on film. So yeah, I'm just going to dig out that chest mount, bear with. Do you know what? I'm going to work out how this goes on and I'll catch up with you in a minute. Alright guys, exciting stuff. I've now got I've got the camera mounted to my chest. I suppose your perspective, isn't it? Really hope this this stuff is all coming out for you. Otherwise, I really am just a guy talking to myself on the banks of a freezing cold lake. Brought my little collapsible stool with me. Not that comfortable, to be honest, but it fits in my rucksack, which means I can travel light. And I've got here a nice flask of tea to keep me alive. That's the stuff. Now, there's a bit of that way. I thought maybe the the lens was a bit steamy, but it's actually just because it's dark. Well, I know I've already said it a few times probably in this video, but it is brilliant to be out here. It's glorious, really is. It's cold, sure, but it's really peaceful and really beautiful this time of day. We are just losing the last rays of sun. Really should put the head torch on now. But actually, I think I'm just going to enjoy the sunset. As much as I'm enjoying the peace, I do hope this tranquility is shattered soon by one of those bite alarms screaming and me connecting with a nice fish. That'd be really good. Well folks, it's now 5:30. Pitch black now. Very, very still, and I've not had any indication that there are fish moving around out there at all. No bleeps from the bite alarms, and no sounds of fish moving at all. So I'm here with my cup of tea, and over here a bit of Netflix on the go, and I'm just gonna wait and hope, and you never know, I might just get lucky and a big carp might just come along who's feeling a bit peckish. I really hope so anyway. I'll stop filming now because there's not really a lot to see, is there? There's the rods, there's the bobbins motionless, but hopefully that could all change soon. Only takes a second to get a bite, they say. Well guys, have a look at this chunky little mirror carp. But I've got to be totally honest with you, this is not the same session. It's not even the same season. It's now spring. I didn't catch anything on that previous session. Basically what's happened is I found all that old footage on my phone that I'd never used. I never caught a fish during that session. So what I thought I'd do is come out for another go. Same lake, same tactics, and it's produced for me this really cool looking little mirror carp. Absolutely brilliant to put one on the bank. And sorry it's taken me so long to upload this video. If you've joined me for the whole thing, thanks so much. And hopefully I'll see you out on the bank again soon. Absolute magic.